Welcome to today's live show. And are you ready to experience history in the making? Because historically, I have never seen implied volatility be this high. You have a daily expected move as big as a monthly expected move today. And if you think, wow, what a gap up this is, well, then I'd look back to this point right here and say we went up 9% in about, what, 30 minutes. 30 minutes, you go up 9%. So don't think that the big gap up of 2.83% is really something to toot your horn about, because we are heading into these levels as of the pre-market, into these levels where we have seen those resistances come in. We are potentially heading up to 529.87, but understand that implied volatility is very high. Very, 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 very high. So what we need to understand about this is still a rip around kind of market. You are seeing massive moves. And I know I pull up this 30-minute chart and you're like, these aren't that massive, but these little swings in here are adding up to be 2 to 4% every single time. And this wick right here took you about 9% up. That is something crazy. So I want you to understand just how crazy this might become and how crazy today could be. And if you're a day trader, you probably are loving life. But something key here is just the implied volatility is so high that you can see rapid moves, and a little 3% move in the morning is going to look like nothing possibly by the afternoon, right? It could see this go up like here, come all the way back down to create that divergence point, right? We're looking for those signals down outside of our yellow line here, this 502.27. That is our second standard deviation. And look at that 95% zone. It's unfortunate that we get Black Monday, and maybe we should be thanking, Jim Cramer or something like that for saying, oh, Black Monday is coming, because he really did save the market. Thank you, Jim Cramer. But you need to understand these levels. So make sure that you do have these on your chart. I'm just going to show them off right here. 529.87 to the upside, 478.89 to the downside. We do have the Qs with a massive move. And you'll notice that that move takes you outside of that zone again. So if we do see that upside move, notice this. What did we talk about yesterday? If we use the up or the downside monthly expected move, right, we're below it. This is your 68% zone up in these areas, this line right here. Well, what we need to be paying attention to is the fact that this can become resistance, right? We have used it as resistance once. We have seen resistance there twice. We can see resistance come in there again. I'm not necessarily thinking that people should be buying into this, really, right? I think it invites another drop to come now that we have bounced before we actually get that solidified news. We need solidified good news with a solidified good reaction, and that could take all the way up until midnight. Now, I did watch a little bit of Donald Trump over on Rumble, and he did say that people are reacting, right? Countries are reacting, but we need to understand that if they don't react, if the countries don't react, they don't solidify these things now. He said he is still open for negotiations, but those tariffs will go into effect. So if you don't see reactions and those tariffs go into effect, that can cause another selling moment. So we will pay attention to it. This could take more time than we really understand, right? It's really hard to see that because we've been through volatility for so long, but we could make the 30-minute divergence. We could then go up and make the 2-hour divergence, right? And then at the end of the day, you don't have daily divergence either on at least the SPY. So you still can see a daily move up and a daily move back down. And we will be paying attention to that. I think you are more likely to see, once this thing is resolved, that this could end up in the upward direction, maybe after some options expiration, but it could take up to 2 weeks for that to take place. The 30-minute for now, going to the upside for the Qs, running its head into our 437.18, maybe to start off the morning. We have 18 minutes until the open, but 446.48 is what we're watching, and 490 to the downside is also something we are paying attention to. As of today, the data that we will get today, you don't really get much data, but tomorrow, we will go into tomorrow, and you will get FOMC minutes. Maybe they will talk about the meeting that they had. I believe they had that yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you guys for coming in. Thank you guys for leaving a like on the stream so we can get to more retail traders so they can understand the probabilities of what is going on here. As of right now, if you wanted those probabilities, if you're new here, well, this is your 68% zone. You have a 68% probability to land in that zone by the end of the month. That is by the end of the month. You can really stay down here for a long time and then just rip up at the end of the month. So just pay attention to the fact that we could build a lot of liquidity down in these areas, or we do still have that potential to get back in there. So this line right here, the dotted yellow line, that is your 95% line in the sand, right? There is a 95% zone as well. And we actually got there. So you are experiencing something very, very crazy that you do not see very often. But most of the time, right, 95% of the time, you do not close the month below this line. So pay attention to that. 68% of the time, you don't close below this line, and that's very good. If GME bought 500 million of Bitcoin and Bitcoin hits 110,000 per coin before next earnings, what price do you think GME will be priced at? No wrong answers. That is highly dependent on how the stock actually performs with the buying that comes in, right? I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, a 10% move for Bitcoin means a 10% move for GME. I wouldn't necessarily be saying that. I would more so just be saying, do things remain good, right? That's what I mainly like to see. Do things remain good? And that's a big deal. As we go look at the GMEs and AMCs, we can see they're going in the upward direction, but nothing absolutely crazy, which means we should be aware that rejections can happen. If you get that good news and this thing starts to take off, that'd be a great thing. AMC, again, this would have been a great close. This right here would have been a great close. That would have invited a gap up. That would have been fantastic. You didn't necessarily get that, so no confirmation yet for AMC. You do notice that the 30-minute chart was able to go positive, and we are sitting on that 5-day. So let's look for, can we see that upward move? Watch out for little divergences and things like that. And that goes the same for GME that already has one on the RSI. And we'll see if that can form over time here. But this is saying GME overall with the momentum, it is producing to the upside. So this could be failing. We'll pay attention to it. But for the time being, it's less about reading into it. That's kind of like MSTR, right? MSTR, you just more care if Bitcoin is seeing good positivity, right? If it's seeing good positivity, I really like to just pay attention to monthly expected moves and then see if we're getting something crazy. If you get something crazy, hey, it's anyone's ball game. You know what I mean? Short Fridays. But thank you so much for the $10 Short Fridays. Let's give you a price though. Let's give you a price, okay? So if we look at Bitcoin, right, it came down to those lower levels. That's good because GME came down to lower levels as well. So these things are sitting pretty in tandem. And you would say, hey, if we react up to this point right here, maybe I could pay attention to where GME's price was around March 2nd. Okay, so I can look at March 2nd and I can say if it gets up to that point, well, on March 2nd, we were down at or up here in these levels right here. So really, you're already at a level where Bitcoin potentially would see positivity, and then that would be where you would get. You're already seeing that come in early, so it's very likely to wipe that level out. I'd be paying attention to right here, right? 28.91. 28.91, a great level to watch for now because that's where the resistance really has been coming in. So if you can break above that, good things, right? The main thing is, does it remain good and is it violating my plan? Those are the two things that I'd more so pay attention to. Everything is going up, but is it going up in the fashion of this is an actual crazy bottom right now? No, this seems like people buying into something before we actually get the news. So we'll be watching it, but this is not by any means something absolutely crazy. I mean, if you take the low to here, you're actually going about 4%. But I just want you to compare that to, say, a 5-minute chart, right? If we look at a 5-minute chart and we take where that thing actually bottomed here, or let's just take a curl up, right? We curl up on this bar. Okay, how big was that bar to the wick? Okay, 5.8%. So right now you haven't even curled up, but once you do curl up, it'll be right about here. So we can take the top of this bar and say, okay, that's only 3.19. So you do have that room to go up to the daily expected move, but there's probably liquidity. There's probably sellers lurking right in this area. Look how that just got completely collapsed. So we'll look for divergences and things like that. I don't think you'll see that too much on the 5-minute. This will be a very complex thing to try to analyze, but I'm all for it. I think it's a lot of fun. They can until Doge investigates the naked shorting. Trump already said they will be looking into why some of the stocks like DJT got halted 20 times in one day when others didn't. I believe they will be announcing auditing naked shorting in the next 6 months. I think it'll be sooner than that. They have to be very quick with things. I think it'll be much sooner than that, and I think people will price that in maybe before it even happens. I think people will start to react. I think this is a good scenario that shows them like they're not messing around. So if they even mention doing that 6 months from now, Short Fridays, I think you could see a reaction much sooner, right? Because people will try not to get caught doing things, and then you'll just see some craziness out there. Crazy thing for me is the 420 call, right? The thing that I was looking at, the only tinfoil hat thing that I was looking at, and I'm not a tinfoil hat guy. I'm really not. I think it's super interesting. But something that I was paying attention to was how close it would be, how interesting it would be if it was this simple. And this little tweet right here, this Roaring Kitty tweet right here was 420 right there, right? And that would be max volume 420, right? And you see that getting there, and we're almost to a date of 420, and I just think that's really, really funny. I think it's just a meme, but at the end of the day, it's like we're approaching it, and signals look fantastic. So I just think you're on the verge of something that has high potential to be very good, right? If you're going to see a moment for GME, then you're going to see signals like this, like really. So I like, these are the type of signals that I like to buy every single time, right? I'll do it just in case, because at the 1% chance that it's the time, I can make so much money, it's going to be insane. See that Ripple is trending. Why would XRP be overall trending? It's got a Coinbase for it. Daily scale, as you see, very much so holding all the divergence point. Very nice to hold this divergence, actually. Very nice if we can curl up into positive territory. Yeah, looks like it's there. Now, it's a little bit wonky, so we'll see how this performs over time. And then the other thing is 4-hour chart and the recent price action, not able to have it really. So you might have more time here to figure things out for Ripple, but we'll see. All right, as we go up, though, what was the thing that I was leaning towards? I was leaning towards an upside move to start off the day, and then we end up seeing this thing maybe come down to retest down in here. I want to pay attention for any kind of higher low, but I think I'm still leaning towards get that low out, right? Sweep this low one more time, really get them bearish right before an event, and then see what happens. And that's overall what I'm going to go with for now. So I did see some good things on my end, like AVGO. Great move for AVGO. Great move. This is something that gets you out of that flagging. That's fantastic. So AVGO might be leaning towards a pullback, right? And we do have a gap down there now, so we could see that pull back. And that would be fantastic to get to this area, pull it back, then see that curl back to the upside. Mainly a consolidative move below 165.89 would be fantastic. If we can go up and extend higher, awesome. Looking for a head and shoulders where we maybe lose 165.89 for a second there. Looking at something like, if I can zoom out to really show you, looking for something like this right in here. Yeah, it's too hard to put a price on that, though, short price. I wish I could. Maybe I could analyze that a little bit more this weekend and figure that out. At least a good estimate. It's, I think with GME, if a big moment happens, it's less about what price does it get to. It's more about what price does it get to that I care about or that I would like to have make good money. And I like to do things a little quicker. Everyone's saying, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 and things like that. I'm more thinking like, okay, if it gets to $100, that's great, 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 great profit. That's a once in a lifetime trade. There's a lot of once in a lifetime things happening right now. And implied volatility is one of those things. I'm a big believer in Fibonacci and the nature of everything involved, and I see a huge cycle coming into small cap soon. I think that's relatively correct. I think everything looks like it wants to rip together. If you get some, that's why I really want to get across this moment right here. This moment right here was a fake piece of news. And you went up from the low. You got that fake news. It wasn't real. Almost 9%. Once you actually get real news, if it's good, you can see big percentages, way bigger than 9%, if that's all that needs to happen to get a 9% is some kind of fake news. So there is a lot of pent-up bearishness that can get really ripped apart here. Now, we are seeing that for the time being, resistance coming in at those levels. Resistance can come in at those levels again. So I might even watch the Qs and see how they behave right as they're at their monthly expected move. But good morning, good morning, good morning. Lucas, do you still think Palantir is going down one more time at least? Well, everything can go down one more time. You want to be like, hey, it can go down one more time. The key thing is it getting rejected here? Is it getting rejected when the MACD is here? Is it getting rejected here, right? That gives you more percentages. If this just gaps up in the morning and completely fades the move, which we have enough implied volatility to definitely do so, you have like huge priced in moves for the day. Or at least estimated moves, right? Expected moves. These things can get pretty nuts, right? These things can get pretty nuts because if you're not able to react to higher levels, then you would say, ooh, what if that just fades right away? Well, if that fades right away, you can take out these levels and go make a lower one. I don't think that this wick will, or I don't think this lower level will really get taken out. I think you would more so see that flush, maybe even into the end of the day, right? We see this gap up, we flush almost like in the first probably like hour or two, and then you see that curl up. So if we're not getting a flush early on in the day, we're looking for overall pullbacks, unless it's some kind of massive trap. One thing I did want to bring up was volatility able to drop to lower levels. This is pointing towards a lower high. Okay, VIX is starting to point towards a lower high. So we'll pay attention to that because this could go up, fill a gap as it retests the 5. We want to also see that the 2-hour is crossing down. If we get a bigger reaction from volatility, we will look for something like this. But as of right now, the 30-minute is suggesting a lower high is the more probable thing. And if the 2-hour is going to curl up, it would more so curl up if the 30-minute holds up better, and then we end up seeing that next move to the upside for volatility. So that's more the 2-hour complexity. And we should be pretty versed in 2-hour and 30-minute complexities at this point, right? Boom, right there, the daily complexity that never fully confirmed, correct? Right, we just kept curling down. We never were able to fully reject that move, closing below the 9-day moving average. So there's a lot that can happen. I highly doubt with this amount of implied volatility that we're just going to see this thing start to rip all of a sudden before we actually get solidified news. Thank you for yesterday's video. Tesla is an interesting one. Hit the like and show our boy some love. Appreciate that, Wall Street Ponzi. Hey, I saw you were looking at some tweets. I just had to tweet that this morning. I was like, dude, I don't think people understand that a one piece of fake news sent the market screaming for just 25 minutes, and it was a 9% move. That's the amount of implied vol we have here. And so you see how news driven we are. It's kind of crazy. 5 minutes, get your coffee. Oh shoot, I might go make some coffee. I might tell wifey to make coffee. Now, here's the thing, Wall Street Ponzi. That goes two ways. Okay, that goes two ways. If we get lackluster news, we might head down. If we get bad news, no one's coming. That goes both ways. If we get bad news, that is where it gets rough. What are the key levels for the SPY today? Weirdly enough, 529.87 to the upside, which is right by your monthly expected move. In red up here, you can always read that little red ticker over here on the right side, right up here. But that will be your daily expected move for the day. Just so you are aware of how big the implied volatility is, let's measure out how big of a move that would be. That is a 5% move in one day. Sometimes you get monthly expected moves that are 5% up or 5% down, 5% expected move. So you have like a monthly expected move. And to show this off in the video last night, we just kind of circled, right? We were kind of just like, okay, let's do this kind of quick here and go, okay, that's your monthly expected move. Well, look at the day. You're almost as big as a monthly expected move. And this was a volatility was coming into this month. This is a volatile month, and you're as big as that. So it's going to be a rough one. And most likely we are going to see some rip around behavior. You literally will experience history in the making today. Not from even a perspective of tariffs, but from a perspective of technical analysis, from a perspective of implied volatility, you are experiencing like something that has really probably very rarely happened in the history of the stock market. You really are. BXSL. Yeah, we can check real quick before this market opens. We got to pay attention to some rip around kind of stuff. Similar scenario, no reversal signals in sight. And that's the bad part about looking at these stocks right now. Looking at almost any stock right now is it doesn't have a lot of good signals. But do you know what it would be a good hint is Amazon? We'll look at that in a moment. So what you're looking for here is if it's not going to make reversal signals, I hope that you would have monthly expected moves. If you do have monthly expected moves for anything like this, you can tell me what the expected move is, and I can get you that standard deviation, that second one. Yeah, that's fairly true, Dubs. We're kind of looking for that IV to drop off. Like you can this is why I think position traders who just have conviction can be better off because over time they won't lose as much value. Okay, it's the shorter term stuff that if you get it slightly wrong, it can really ruin you if that IV gets crushed, right? So we'll see. We're heading into the wick right at the open here. Who the heck is texting me this morning? Oh, it's my sister. It's just one of those like triple texters. So that's the bad part about it, Jim. And I appreciate the $2 and thank you so much for that. But the bad part is a lot of these things, if they're not going to give you hints, they can rip. That's why that's why having the expected moves is a great thing. But if we really take into consideration like what we normally look for, you're looking for some kind of reversal, some kind of big upward move that then gets a pullback, some kind of big upward move that crosses up a daily chart. And what I would overall be watching today is actually Amazon. I think Amazon would be a great one to watch. We're heading into the zone. We're right on that 5-day moving average. So we'll be watching it. I think the main thing we'll look for are fades in the morning and things like that. But for the most part, you look at the daily chart and you go, it's holding on the MACD, it's holding on the RSI. So if we don't go down to deeper levels, it's very likely that Amazon could just be like, okay, 30-minute move up, 30-minute move down, 30-minute curls right back up, right? I think a higher low would make a lot of sense for Amazon. Amazon would be a great hint on the daily scale is what I'm mainly saying there. There are markets in history where you get plus 6% after a 20% drop. Yes. Yes. But you don't. Okay, here's the thing. The reason that I'm saying this, GKL, you don't get that priced in most of the time. So here's why this is historic. Okay. When you do get that 20% move down, you normally see a range that is actually very tight, and then people get something unexpected. Weirdly enough, this going up, what is it, 3.5% in the morning is expected. This is expected. That's what I'm talking about. You're not necessarily, it's not necessarily the fact that you're going to see an upside move, right? You come down dramatically once good news produces, you can go up dramatically even faster sometimes. Okay, that's great. But the fact that the market is pricing it in is the interesting part for me. That's the interesting part for me. I gotta boot some stuff up. I'm a little late here. My wife has me reading some book for her. She really wants me to read. I was able to read it, almost all of it, in like 2 days. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, everything's laggy. SoFi, I did see someone mention SoFi. SoFi breaking out of this lackluster buying for the time being, but still in negative territory. Crossing through that center line is a good sign for the RSI. Testing on that 5-day. This is where shorts can reload for a lot of things. So you want to see it bust through there. 5-day moving average is like a very obvious point. Oh my gosh, is everyone staring at their charts? Staring at their accounts or what? I'm fucking laggy. How am I supposed to do anything today with this? Is this a dead cat super bounce? Well, with the implied volatility you have, this is just a regular dead cat bounce for the amount of implied volatility. Yeah, lag was crazy yesterday. I think everyone's staring at their stuff. Everyone's just staring at it. Okay, this thing might need to I noticed that, Kyle. I noticed that. That's what I was looking at. And getting rejected from the zone. We'll see. It's nice to get above that 5 for a second. AVGO, my goodness, what a ripper. And able to get above that 165.89. That's a great sign. We'll see what happens. I think it's kind of hats off, like anything can happen kind of day because of the implied vol we do have. We'll tell him to Mad Dog. Imagine the squeeze that dude. I don't. I think people are underestimating how much bearishness is actually here at this point. Yeah, it's most likely just it's most likely problems with the IV, but options can be real funky in these times. What do we want to do today? How do we want to play this? Let's look at volatility. Not too much there. 2 hour drop and drop and drop in. Looks like right on that 36 pretty much where it could get interesting. High yield growth actually seeing the upside as well. That's not a bad sign. Oh my gosh, I don't even think I'm gonna be able to move stuff around easily. This is crazy. Like, how many people must be staring at their stuff right now? Which might, we'll have to see how that PCC comes out. JP Morgan with the crazy move too, able to gap above that 221. That's a great sign as well. All right, let me look at some stuff on my other charts real quick. If we go over and we look at futures, we get a little bit of an idea of what can happen here. If you really look at this guy, you put it on a 2 hour, you start to see a picture of like, are we doing something absolutely crazy just yet? Potentially not. Let's see if it'll let me move. If that lets me move. We're good. We don't need to move too much. But yeah, so it's more just like, hey, this implied volatility, this is not something to get too excited about. You haven't even curled up a 2 hour chart. I think it's more likely if we're going to see positivity to see this thing at least flush down one more time. PCC should come out in about 10 minutes. Yeah, it's usually about 15 minutes. Was it 15 minutes after the open? Yeah, things are just slow. I would expect any trading platform to just be a little bit slow. Not too slow. Things are starting to shape up over here. Shoot. Gotta go grab something real quick. And I'm gonna make coffee. Today's gonna be a wild day. So I'll be right back. Let me go make some coffee, okay, guys? I'm gonna put the let me put the daily expected moves in the bottom right so that people can see that because that's a crazy, crazy day. So let me take a picture of this real quick. That way people can at least if they come to the stream, they can see that pretty easily. There you go. Right there. Well, you have them. I'll be right back. I'm gonna make coffee real quick. Yeah, the issues are starting to kind of get less and less, it seems. But it always sucks when it's right away in the beginning of the morning. Like it always sucks when that happens. All right, be right back, guys. All right, coffee is a brewing. Coffee is brewing. We gotta do something. Seriously? This shit is nutty. Yeah, IV is gonna be kind of crushing here. That's the bad part. Okay. So we'll just see how today performs. I mean, I would love to see a reversal signal down here. That's what I would love to see. I am not selling anything. Yeah, I was trying to see if AVGO just I didn't necessarily want to get back in, right? I sold half. Sold half. It was just good profit. And then at the same time, I didn't like the flagginess going into today. And another drop was definitely possible, even though I thought we would see upside still. Like I thought we'd see something like that still. But that's okay. I just did what made me more comfortable in the trade and was able to take some profit there. So very nice. Amazon starting to reject from that zone. We'll see if that's able to turn back around. Yeah, market makers are probably going to make some bank today. Gosh. Okay. So this will be important to watch for. These are a bunch of little divergences, but on the 30-minute, you can more so see that. We'll see if this is going to cause some kind of 2-hour pullback or at least a retest of 5-day on that 30-minute for these type of levels, $23. See, now everything's curled up, so really positivity, it's pointing in that upward direction. The thing is, if it was actual good news and we were moving up for good news, not people, trying to guess the good news first, um, we'd be seeing much more. Look at the good news here. That you're not even seeing the same thing here. You're just not. So I think this can hold as resistance and downside makes some sense. I got out of my NVIDIA with 80%. Like positive, great stuff, Dubs. We like to see it. What do I think about Tesla technicals? I actually think Tesla looks nice. It's just if implied volatility is high, then Tesla's implied volatility has to be in freaking sane. Like, let me go look. That's the only reason I haven't really tried. Like, I actually looked at Tesla yesterday just to look at it, and the pricing of the options was insane. So I'm gonna guess that even for just this Friday, yeah, at the money, $1,000. That's actually not horrible, but you only have 3 days expiration. Let's go with a normal position I like to take. One, two, three. Let's do May 9th. If you look at May 9th at the money, it's it's over 20, it's $2,300 a contract right now at the money. It can be worth a lot more, but the IV for this, let's actually look at the IV. Let's do that. It's actually not that crazy. It's not as crazy as I thought it might be, but it is a month out. I wonder what it is for the 3-day. Let's do the 250 again. 113% or something. Yikes. Hmm. Yeah, it's just the upside move early is just always a little worrisome. Maybe we actually need volume up today. Yeah, volume coming down. I'll go look on my other charts real quick. Just a wild, it's gonna be a wild one, but still, that if I look at the SPX 500, if I look at that futures on, the 2-hour chart is just like the perfect type of behavior to get another drop, which is funny enough. That is very strange. Looking to short at 530. Well, I'd pay attention to the Qs as well. The Qs are taking back that monthly expected move. That's a great thing. Like this could potentially be it, right? We are out of that 95% zone. If we're going to V-shape, now's the time, really. But this is what's priced in for the day, so I wouldn't expect us to just kind of do this and then just sit. I really wouldn't. With that amount of implied volatility, I would more so lean towards we see this, we see this, we see this, at least. And then maybe you drop at the end of the day. Then you can invite whatever to happen going into tomorrow based on the news. Literally, it's going to be whatever the news is, that's it. Well, it made 120. Nice job, GC. That's what we like to see. Let's see if Amazon can start a squeeze before 9:30. That would be nice. I would love that. I would love that, but like Wall Street Ponzi is bringing up, theta burn getting pretty rough out there. You do Oxy? Yeah, let's go look at Oxy. Oxy we more looked at from a long-term lens because of Z. Warren Buffett. Now, Oxy has 30-minute divert, but look how flaggy that next move is, man. You're looking for that little sweep maybe, and then you're happy with it, but that's going to be rough. I think it was at these type of levels, we were just like, you're kind of in a range, right? You're kind of like, you break above this, it's good. You break below that, it's bad. I believe that was the last statement we had on it a while back. Mainly looking at, I think, these levels down here because of the double bottom, right? We were like, hey, this is where it can break through, but if it fails, just watch wherever it breaks here, broke down. No good signals on the daily. The only thing you have is this 30-minute, and it's not producing positivity. It's really looking flaggy. So another drop is very likely here, I think, especially as you're still so negative. You're just so negative on a lot of these things that another drop or a more complex base would make a lot of sense. But yeah, I'm not like bearish on it. I think Oxy is at the levels where you want to be looking for potential for investment over time, right? Oxy is what? Is that, if I'm not mistaken, is that like petroleum or something? Yeah, petroleum. So these things are taking big hits, right? These things are taking big hits. But you want to look at where that's at. Okay, that's a breakout area, weirdly enough. Now you can head lower. You can head all the way down to 30.50, but it's like if I'm scaling it, if I just like the price of this, and then over time that builds back up to $70, hey, potentially a good investment. So it's just, I think that more is looking at the investment side again, seeing if everything's okay. Everything's not okay, right? You just failed all the divergences because of what's going on. So you got to see some V-shape there as well. That's the unfortunate thing about this, is a lot of these things need V-shapes. Or give us a hint, man. I'm down for a hint. As far as the day goes, Kalani, no idea. I figured that upside made a lot more sense here. Try to get people to be a little bit less bearish. It's kind of working. It's kind of working, right? 1.02, kind of. CPC came in, I believe, lower than the previous day. I think you want to hang out here for a while. Usually you hang out here for a while. Hang out here for a while if you really want to. But just once you see a daily rip like this, a lot of people are going to say dead cat bounce. We'll be aware of that, but we're probably going to run into weekly expected moves. I think people are underestimating, and they're probably going to call dead cat bounces, and that's what's really going to help this thing get shorted on the way up. Now, do I believe this could be a dead cat bounce right now? Yes. The time where I don't believe it'll be a dead cat bounce is if we see a big reaction back into this zone. Then I don't think it'll be a dead cat bounce anymore. I think we can build up over time. You still have to take back some very critical levels to actually get back to good, right? You have to take back like 576 to really get back on the bull side. That's the sketchy part. It's like anywhere in here is going to be sketchy. All right, so you need to break out of that, and then you're happier, but ultimately 576 is your goal. But am I going to not take any risk and be like, oh, I'm going to wait till 576? Or am I going to be like, yeah, let me take some risk and find the good reward? Because if it's right, it's good potential money there. It's just you have to be good with position sizing. You can't, and expiration, the amount of time you would need for that to produce. You say dump first, then rip. It's like this is a rip first, by the way. If you aren't aware, we're up by 3% right now. Bounce on SPY. When SPY does the death dive, it always comes back to 3 to 6 weeks later. All right, let me look through a couple of these real quick on 30-minute charts just to see if those looks have really changed. Okay, let's go through. We got to start with IWM. IWM built some bundles down here. Very, very cool. DIA, probably a little more risky to come back down into that. Apple really reversing that thing around, but could just be getting to that 5-day. Tesla, a little rough for Tesla, honestly. Some weird looks. Amazon looks like it's attempting to say, like, yeah, that's a bottom. That would be wild. Nvidia doing the thing, man. Hitting that monthly expected move, seeing positivity coming into where we could see that rejection. We'll see. Even AMD starting to snap back. And AMD actually had 30-minute divergence. Meta doing the same as Amazon. We're still so deep on these MACDs, though. It's gonna be rough. Oh, it's just gonna be a rough time. We don't see anything throughout the day, then oof. Tomorrow's gonna be kind of insane. Let's check VIX. VIX is kind of suggesting this level down here, pretty much where it's at right now. We can see some kind of reaction, but it could go deeper first, down to like 36. No, I'm not day trading anything like that, no. I'm just sitting in positions, waiting. It's been. You think they topped out for the day? You're confident saying that like 25 minutes into the day? Yeah, the news part is the most important for me, Laps. Yeah, the bigger the chart crossover, the better you would feel, right? Still aware that things can reverse up even if they curl down on a big chart, but yeah, the bigger the time frame, just nice. Yeah, just close the market. You're like, just close this market down. Oh, yesterday was pretty fun. I'm sure day trade, like Chris was in here saying like, yo, yeah, I was day trading using the daily expected moves. It's very rare to see, so very good profits to be had, right? Touch a daily, then you go up and touch the other daily. That's pretty wild. Waiting to buy back when it's down, so I have to believe that. Okay, Rajiv. Yeah, I still have those longs in there. Amazon's the one that's just like, if that starts to vomit, I might have to reposition that. It might be like, I'm still wanting to be long, but if we start to see something bad, I might have to take a reposition in some way, move that out a couple of weeks. I need more time behind it. It's taking a little longer than I expected for Amazon. Thankfully, AVGO, I bought that further out. Lucas, one of us is going to be. I'll be happy either way, Rajiv, right? Once you get good at position sizing, you'll be fine either way. See, Matthew, more. I think what matters more is anything pertaining to tariffs. But I think that could add some too, right? If they say like, "Hey, we are going to price in some cuts" or something like that, we just have no idea what they're going to say. We have no idea what the tariffs are going to say. So anyone telling you out there like, "Oh, this has to be good," We're just talking about the probabilities, right? How the market moves, ignoring data or ignoring not data, but ignoring news. We would say more of the times than not, you will end up in the upward direction from here than down. That could be a dead cat bounce. That could be blah, blah, blah. It could be whatever. But most of the time, you end up seeing big rips from these levels, and then you have to see if those rips fail. Exactly, Rajiv. Once you get good at it, once you get some time behind it, you're good. And the news that I'm talking about specifically, Matthew, though, would be tariff news. Everyone's worried about tariff, worried about tariff, worried about tariff. So we need to see that good news. And you potentially need to see a lot of good news. You need to see like great news. You have to think about it. This just happened. This just happened. So, okay, we go down like this. If Cambodia is the only one that comes to the table and changes things and goes to 0% tariff, do you think we're going to do that? Do you think we're even going to do this? Now, if a bunch of small guys get in and they all come to the table and say 0 tariffs, can you rip? Yeah. But what's China doing? What's the EU doing? What's Vietnam doing? What are all of these doing? Right? Because that might invite, oh, okay, they're not coming to the table at all. Those are going to be ones people care about more, I think, because there's just more money there, even though it's a lower percentage of their GDP. South Korea negotiations are looking good. White House has top team there. I mean, I think it's good. I think a lot of people are coming to the table last minute. Do you know why a lot of countries will come to the table last minute? I thought they were thinking he was bluffing, and now I think they're slowly realizing he's not. So this is why it's important. Trump said, like, even if they don't come to the table right away, he's willing to do negotiations with certain countries, right? Certain countries. If China doesn't come to the table today, then the deal is going to change dramatically. You didn't meet the deadline, so we're changing the deal if you really want it. And he's going to make it worse for them, probably. I don't even know if China would take it, though. I think EU's in that same boat, but EU's already reacting. Yeah, Sid, that was on industrials. We saw that a little bit yesterday. Does Warren Buffett has the best spidey senses in the world, or build in stop loss? Stop losses are good on the way up for these. All right, volatility is coming down into that 37 to 36 area. That's really where I want to start to pay attention for a reaction here, weirdly enough. Q's not at the daily, SPY not at the daily. We see this. We see that. You're getting up into the area where uh-ohs can start to happen. We'll see. Right? All we need is one news story about someone not willing to come to the table, some kind of bad news. But you want good news, really. I want good news personally. I think that'd be great. Five-day and 9-day. Yeah, they're two that I've followed for a long time. I mean, I actually didn't utilize the 5-day on shorter time frames often, but I do pay attention to it for where people would potentially short again, right? If you see a daily and you see that blue line coming down, a lot of the time you're going to see us be around that 5-day. When you see the big drop, okay, you go up to the 5-day. You drop again, 5-day. You hang out in that area. Actually go to the 9. Drop again, 5-day. Drop again, 5-day. Drop again, 5-day. Drop again. Do you see what I'm saying? I think we get the picture here. You kind of ride it on the way down. So if you're a shorter time frame trader, I would highly encourage you to just put up a 5-day and try to look at it and see if it's helpful for your trading style. A 5-day is very, very nice. It's very nice on the way up too, just so you are aware. Getting ready for Lucy to yank the football. Yeah, well, there's probably a lot of people taking swings right here. And swing trading, this isn't necessarily the best environment for it, right? That's why I changed my tune a little bit. This is more day trader friendly. Boom, fill gap, take profit, get bounce, see that rip down again, get down to here, take profit, get bounce. So I more care about what's the behavior over time over the next few trading sessions now around this line. That's what I'm paying attention to. And then based on that behavior, I can hold on to my longs, I can add to my longs, or I could get rid of those longs if I see something that scares me. And if I miss out on a big upward move, hey, at least I have nothing to lose out there, right? I'm not going to short in this area at all. As far as a position a month out, I'm not shorting for a month at these levels. I'm just not doing it. China, I think, will be hardball, and I think that will take over a lot of that news. Europe will negotiate, but how far will they go? Because Willow was bringing up a good point yesterday, just saying it might not be enough for Trump, right? The zero tariffs on just industrials might not be enough for Trump, right? Sure, the keys today just as a hedge. See, that's the decisions you got to make, You just want to spread out the time frames. If you're paying attention to how I like to do things, almost like swing position type stuff, I guess. But if you're looking at those, you want to look at 2 hours. So if we look at the 30-minute here, we see that it's negative. If we go down into like SPX 500 and you go into a 2 hour, your 2 hour is pretty much your 30-minute, and you see how it's at the same point. So your 2 hour cross here, it's bad. But what can you pay attention to first? Well, we'd be watching the 30-minute over for the SPY during market hours. But yeah, you look for 2 hour divergences for the SPX to see bounces for like a 30-minute. So you see right here, 2 hour, bam, 2 hour, bam. What do you get? That run that we got. This would be on the 30-minute on the charts on the SPY. That's just what I noticed. A 30-minute is kind of like a 2 hour over here. You got to wait more time. A lot of things happen overnight for this. It's a 2 hour bar instead of a 30-minute one, so it's a little different. But for the most part, I pay attention to 30-minute and 2 hour for the SPY. If I'm looking at futures in any way, I'm opening that up to 2 hour and a 4 hour. Same thing goes for Bitcoin, 2 hour and a 4 hour. So the fact that we don't have any 2 hour signal here shows you Bitcoin is still vulnerable for another drop kind of moment. Still vulnerable, but isn't going to happen. We want to see the opposite side too. That would be the daily scales able to curl up. We're pretty pent up in here. A lot of people think this is going to take months to figure out. And I don't think they're realizing, like, if people just come down on the tariffs, how good of a reaction you can actually get very quickly. But we'll see. We're pent up, and I think you got a hint of what's to come. I think this is a hint of what's to come. I would really pay attention to the fact that this even happened. Good morning, A. How you doing? Yeah, they're talking about potential countermeasures over for the EU. I think what he mainly wants to see is probably he does want to see automobile and tech in some way from the EU. So industrials, industrials. I don't know if that'll be enough for him. All right, guys, I can smell my coffee. Let me go make a coffee real quick, and I will be right back. All right, don't crash. Don't all you guys sell at the same time and crash this market. Okay, I have longs here. All right, freaking A, I have a long position. All right. Freaking Dave out there with your billions of dollars. Stop selling stocks on me, boy. Yeah, probably not, Sid. They're gonna more so we'll pay attention to it and see what they say, but I assume they would say, people are front running. Be right back. Let me go make a coffee. Alrighty, we're back. Sorry about that. What if it don't, sorry, you sound like my mom's friend who's very country. What if it don't drop today, huh? What if it done near don't drop today? Then it doesn't drop today. What if it doesn't drop today? Well, then maybe it drops tomorrow. Maybe it goes up tomorrow. Maybe it goes up further today. If it doesn't drop today, then maybe the opposite of dropping happens, you know? Seriously, what does she always say? She always says something. It always pisses my mom off. Anyway, 30 minutes still negative overall here. I don't want to look for something. I thought about just shorting UVXY for this, but it's probably going to be the good move later. Yeah, I'm going to look at contracts though. These things have to be kind of insane. All right. There we go. Okay, this time we're doing it better, I think. I think this is the smarter thing. There we go. We will hedge at the 5-day moving average, just using a short-term SPY for Friday kind of hedge down towards that 500 level. That's what I like to see. That would be, if we're going to draw, it'll be somewhere in this area. So I don't think hedging here is bad for me because the longs are going to look good if we just start to squeeze. So I'm not worried about losing that little amount. I can react quickly. Are things are looking good for Apple, still producing some positivity. I just wish these MACDs looked better. Tesla, great move. Amazon, great move. Nvidia, great move. Taking back the 5. So these are good things. I just decided to hedge that for just a moment, just in case. Yeah, it's right between that 37 and 36 level. Okay, so the 37 to 36 level, that's right where your 5-day is sitting. So that's where we would maybe get a reaction here. And the reason that I'm hedging, I want to be very clear of why I'm hedging. One, I need to spread out that Amazon position. So if I could possibly do that soon, that'd be great. The other is look at what happened when you got that unexpected fake news. That's a 9% move. This is nothing. This is 3 times, almost 3 times less than when you actually got something. So if one piece of this goes wrong today, oh, the EU and Trump aren't agreeing on tariffs. This could be really bad for us. You could literally see a 9% rip down. Or maybe not 9%. Let's see. You could potentially see all of this get taken away. 4% down. You can go all the way down 8.4%. So that's why I'm like, I'm going to hedge as we're at that topside move for going into Friday, just for a short period of time. Imagine the move if Europe deal is done. Yeah. But negotiations, they do take time. So the fact that there's not a lot of time is kind of crazy, and you potentially have to react very quickly. And with the EU, all we saw was industrials, which isn't a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing. That's actually a really good thing. But is it enough for Trump? We don't know. We don't know. We have no idea, right? Yeah, Matthew, if I saw the upward move today, I kind of had it in my head that I wanted to take that hedge. So I don't need to close the hedge above. So the reason that I think that this is an okay place to hedge very short term, I'm doing it very short term. So if we did this, if we just started to just rip through both the yellow and the purple, I would take the hedge off potentially. But I also might leave the hedge just in case something were ever to go wrong. It's not an amount of money. That's why options can be a great thing. That's why a lot of people hedge with options, even if they're just holding onto a stock. It's because you don't have to risk a ton of money to get that hedge in place. And then if you're going up, you're just like, okay, I'm making money. This is good. And you can just leave that hedge on and lose a few $100, you know? Like if I target all the way down and I say volatility is really high, I can target all the way down towards like 500 or maybe 502, since that's that 95% line in the sand. I can hedge in this area for the short term and say, if we start to squeeze, okay, awesome. But if we see something like this still, I want to hold on to that. If we start to see this and we just see that gradual upside, then I'm potentially taking it off. But it's not just big. By hedge, I mean I have an upside play. I have a lot of upside plays technically now. I'm scaled in almost fully, pretty much fully, yeah. Except for that take profit on AVGO has a little cash on the side. So if I'm saying this can happen, but I'm aware we're in very volatile times and it could take this downturn, right? I'm very aware that this is negative. Then I can say the 5-day, that monthly as resistance, that daily expected move would be a great time to do so. I can do that for a shorter period of time so it doesn't cost a lot of money, and I can target something a little further down so it doesn't cost a lot of money. But it's saying I'm taking the opposite of my bet in case we go through some turbulence for a moment here. Then I can potentially take some profit, look for the confirmation, and then put that money to work in the other direction. Yeah, so I bought calls and then I bought puts here, right? It's like I have calls that say I want to hold that till it gets to like here, but I have puts now that are a lower amount that would say, hey, that would really, because these are longer out and these are shorter term, that would potentially hedge, meaning anything I would lose from these options could potentially be hedged by these. Does that make sense? Making more money? Hedges aren't something I do very, very often. Usually I am managing risk back and forth. But that one time where I said, oh, remember I was streaming, you can go look at the stream. That one time I said, I'm taking it off. I see risk here. And then it came down like this. And I said, damn, okay, what I should have done, I didn't do this right. Instead of taking all the longs off, I should have just taken the longs off or left a couple and then hedged the position in some way. And that hedge would have potentially made some, because I got convinced to sell out at some point here. And then I ended up scaling in all throughout this downward push. So we're in it. Very nice. Some of the stuff actually very positive, right? Actually, the overall trades are positive. So that's a very good thing. That was very surprising to me. And I have to thank AVGO for that. Amazon still needs some time, but it's showing good positivity. Oh yeah, you can do it in multiple ways. Exactly, Dave. So Dave, that's the exact same thing that I'm talking about that I did pretty much just now. We're not at the daily expected move. I just want to do it anywhere near this type of area, especially during retail hours. Ugh. But people are overall shorting it. We're still growing. We're still above that one. So overall, this could be a big moment. Look for anything that could be potential. Look for something that hasn't grown too much. I don't think there is much. Yeah, Apple's seen a good move. Actually, I need to look at weekly expected moves too. And then Patreon members be ready, because after we see some stuff from today, we're going to be talking about what's going on here. Amazon's at resistance right now. This little zone here is where you break down from. You gapped outside of it again, right? We've had this zone for a while. I just pulled it across. We've had it for a pretty decent amount of time, right? We had it back here. So we're using that zone again. It's a very big zone, very macro zone, I would say. But we're tapping into that, and you don't necessarily have the reversal signals that look the best. You do have them, though, for Amazon. That's the best part. I think Amazon's your best hint. If the daily curls up for Amazon, that's a good thing. Let's just put it that way. If the daily curls up for Amazon, I think Amazon is your hint. But that could take a few days. We'll look for more hints as it shapes up. The 30-minute chart showed divergence right there. And your monthly expected move was right here, right on that like 174.51, just so you're aware. And look what we used. We got above it. Bam. Nice. Let's go ahead and SPY option premium. Dude, the options are going to, the premiums and stuff like that, theta, delta, everything is going to look crazy, especially with the short-term options, because this is all priced in for the day. If you are trading a day trader today, you can make good money, but you got to be quick with it. You got to be very concise. You got to be very cautious too. That position size might need to come down a little bit, which is not the best when the options are expensive. That all depends. Making more money, that all depends on how long you're willing to hold the option. Like if you're doing, let's just go drastic. If you're doing 6 months, do you really care if there's a little, if there's a even a 5% dip with the amount of volatility you have this week? Can you handle that? Can your emotions handle that? Are like that's more what it's about. If I'm holding something for 5 years, do I care what it's doing in a month, like the first month that I'm holding it? Well, if I'm watching things very, very carefully, maybe, but that's more investment style. You're more just like you've made the decision. Oh, you like to see green. So you don't like to see red very often? Well, then that would say, you're in an area right now for Amazon that can hold as resistance. You're right at the 5-day. You're right here. That 30-minute is going positive. That's a good sign. You've broken out. But it goes, this is where things can get very crazy. So, and it's kind of hard for me to say because implied volatility is so high that if we did not see the market rip back and forth at all today, that would be, that itself, no action today would be wild. Hated red since third grade when teacher made corrections. That's okay. It's okay. Try being a kid who was cross-eyed with astigmatism. Kindergarten was a rough time. Semiconductors leading is a positive. Yep, and they're leading pretty strong. Look at the NVIDIA. These things, if they do dip down, that's going positive, this is going positive. They're starting to lean towards, hey, if we dip down, watch for us to get to these areas and then just curl right back up. That's what it's overall kind of shaping up to. SPY's not there yet. You got to learn to like a little bit of red. You got to like a little bit. It's just how much red you want to see, Would it be okay? It's always okay, NBA. It just depends on how you're actually trading it. I think for me, hedging here is perfectly fine. I just bought, a put on the SPY. But is that the trade that I'm trying to make a bunch of money off of? No. What's my actual trade that I'm trying to make successful? Well, it's the move back into the center of the monthly expected move, right? I'm trying to get it to go all the way back up into 562. That's the move I want to see. But I know that pullbacks happen and I'm losing time a little bit on Amazon, so I want to make sure to be hedging it. Not using Amazon to hedge, but using the SPY. Sadly, I hold the advanced money destroyer and it won't be green for some time. It's weird, but AMD actually had a good 30-minute divergence, which is just wild to me. But it looks a lot like that Oxy thing, doesn't it? Oxy just not seeing the positivity yet, but this means the 2-hour can confirm it to the upside. Remember this, though, that 2 hours deep. What do you need to see normally to see a good move? Well, this was a great move. Can we all agree this was a great move for AMD? It was a great move. What did you see below? 2-hour divergence, 2-hour divergence, 2-hour divergence. What do you have here? Nothing deeper level than previous. So it's very likely that even if you get the 2-hour to rip, you can see something like this. If it's going to behave like a bear market, that's what you see. If it's going to behave like a V shape, you probably don't see that. You see just a 30-minute pullback, and then it starts to just rip after options expire. But we do have OpEx next week, so Does this leak out into next week? That would be the crazy thing. It's very fishy if we would just go higher all day. That's how I would phrase it. But the percentage chance of us going higher all day, I mean, it's within the realm of possibility. It is. On an extreme volatility day, on an extreme IV day, it would be very fishy to do so, but that would be potential squeeze like behavior still. If you see like good news and then it gaps up and it does the same thing, then good news, gaps up, does the same thing. That's kind of more squeeze like to me. And then you see a big retrace a lot of the time on squeezes. You look at the daily scale, you look at these squeezes, okay, boom, big move down, right? That's a pretty sizable move down. You don't think it is, but it's pretty sizable. I mean, the amount of volatility we have, you're going to see probably more than that, right? If you want to take into consideration like here, big squeeze up, what happened afterwards? Well, from the low, okay, 10.7%. We saw 10% almost yesterday in one day, by the way, just so you're aware. But how did that react? Well, we needed a 4.3% pullback first before that could continue. So I think you're in a time where you could see a moment like this one, but you need to see good news first. Right? It doesn't mean I can't take some risk. It doesn't mean I can't take a play early, but I really want to pay attention to the news that comes out, which is unfortunate. I hate paying attention to news. I really don't like to pay attention to news, to be totally honest. I like to see good things, which I technically wouldn't even have to make a decision here. There will be a liquidity grab somewhere from here. Well, this looks like potential liquidity grab here. This is potential liquidity grab right now. Or a fake out. Dude, I keep getting dizzy. I don't know what's going on with me. Ugh, why am I getting dizzy today? I went out and grabbed breakfast for the girl, well, for wifey this morning. But I'm dizzy. Not good. We don't want to be dizzy. Trying to chug water. Maybe I need to take my vitamin, but sometimes it makes me feel like butthole. What did Dubs say? Hey, looking when I sold and seeing I could have made a lot more money. Hey, Dubs, look at JP Morgan when I said it was going to go to 250 and I sold it like at the next drop and then it came to 250. You know how much money that would have been worth if I just held my conviction there? Pissed me off, man. Pissed me off. That one makes me frustrated. Not at the stock, at myself for reacting that way and not paying attention to the next reversal signal because it even made a reversal signal as well. And that's literally what I do is if it fails, I get out, see the reverse signal, get back in because the percentages are still with you. So that's kind of what we're looking for here. We don't even have reversal signals. That would be nice. Everyone in panic. Are they? What's overall trending? It's weird, but sometimes just looking at what's trending. The art of the deal. Stock market, no longer stock market crash trending. Okay, yeah, but people are putting, huge crash symbols on under stock market. People going, the US stock market has for some reason gone up today. That's why we watch the percentages. All right, that's either going to make me feel better or much worse. Damn, these things move like crazy. The option values, even on the SPY for like Friday, are going like up 10%, down 10%, and the bar's not even like moving. That's kind of wild. I'm just watching it. We haven't even seen anything wild. 900%, but if I would have held them yesterday, they would have been over 3,500. Yo, that was me with that volatility play back in the day. I made 400%. The next day it was worth 4,000%. How do you make a 5-day? Just literally just go into your indicator here, okay? We do teach it in the course, by the way. That's on sale, by the way. We haven't been mentioning it because we're really trying to just focus on this market movement, but it is on the 80% off sale. You want to type SMA. SMA, moving average simple, just click this bad boy, okay? And then I already have it. So what you want to do is then go into your settings for it, right? Go into your settings, go to inputs, and then you just click 1 day. Because when you get it on your chart, it'll say chart, which means it'll adjust to whatever chart you're looking at. But if you put it on 1 day, so you can make a 5-day, show up on your chart for a weekly, a monthly, a daily, a 2-hour, whatever you like. But the 1 day I think is very important. So yeah, that's what you do. You just literally go to indicator, type SMA, put moving average, click on moving average simple, and then you go into these settings and you just hit 1 day, and you're done. You should be done. Yeah, it should take you like 5 seconds, Camille. Okay. Did you see that 5-minute on Amazon just now? No, I did not. What the hell happened on the 5-minute on Amazon? Ooh, spike down. See what I'm saying? Like people see this and they go, oh yeah, this is a 5-minute chart. It's nothing. You go like this and you go, that was 1.6% in 5 minutes. That's how crazy the market is. This is why it can rip back and forth right now. Right? You're probably like, ah, this isn't that much, and then this is gonna end up being like 1% at least. Ooh, almost. A 1% move in 2 5-minute bars is insane. I'm gonna go look at futures on my other. It looks like VIX still holding that 5-day over here, coming into that 37 to 36 and starting to bounce from it. We'll see what happens. Let's see, what was it I was looking at? Oh yeah, futures. I wanted to go check on futures on the US 100 actually. Yeah, US 100 running its head into here. Divergence on MACD if we would cross down, not on the RSI. So it's overall, these type of signals would say still pullback, but I like the 2-hour. If the 2-hour does cross down there, that would be bad, but 30-minute might be what we're still watching at this point. Okay, volume, we're getting you off because I can't see my freaking lines. I have too many lines on here now. What are you using to show us charts? TradingView. It's free. You just have to deal with ads. If you wait, by the way, you guys wait till the end of the year. I'll have a little code for you, and at the end of the year, you can get a discount. I think I do have a code for it if you want like 15% off if you want to buy it right now, like buy the premium or something. But the end of the year sale, guys, is so good. Especially if you're new, just learn with free settings. You do not need to pay money at all. You don't even need to pay money at the yearly. I'm just saying if you want more things on your chart or anything like that, more is not always better. You know, some YouTubers, they click on this and like 20 things pop up. You notice mine's like 4. I use less information for my actual trading charts over here. Weirdly enough, this time though, I'm paying attention to daily moves. Yeah, there you go. They have 50% off towards the end of the year, Thanksgiving for TradingView. It's awesome. I actually did it and it was cheaper than just getting the 1-step upgrade. Like if you upgrade 1 step, it's cheaper to get pretty much cheaper or the same price to get the annual subscription. It's crazy. I think like end of the year, I think it's like they do if you do annual, I think it's like 70% off. What's the URL? Just type TradingView on Google. Just one, you can do it 1 word or 2 words, it'll pop up. Tradingview.com. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. If you're early, and you don't even need to ever. I say this all the time. The only reason I ever started paying for TradingView was because I hate ads. That's why I have YouTube Premium as well. Hey, thank you so much, Short and Sweet, for subscribing. Hope you're having a short and sweet kind of day. Maybe a short here ends up being kind of sweet. We'll see. But yeah, the only reason that I started paying for TradingView was because if you don't pay for it, you'll get like pop-ups down in here, like every like what, 20 minutes or so. And that just annoys the crap out of me with my ADHD. And so I'm just like, oh my God, it's so fucking lame. I don't know why, but that's something about me. The tiniest of things annoy the crap out of me. That's just how I've always been. Ad blocker. Well, I use the actual program. So you can actually download it on desktop. So I actually use it on desktop. Brave browser. Yeah, I actually use the program, like the technical the app, if you will. Okay, let's go check on the memers for a split sec because I'm getting kind of dry out there. Oh, don't like that. I really don't like that type of movement. I really don't like that. I really don't like this look right now for GME, which is like crazy. But if it would pop up, these things. This is how this works. You see a reversal signal. The time that it actually fails is when you see good things, right? When you just see it gap up and totally contradict the signals. Get some money out of that. Okay, good. Bad. Bad. Okay. GME still looks pretty good. Still holding. It's just worrisome, that one. Got smoked on theta. Like I'm saying, like you have to be a very skilled day trader, be very fast, be good with position size. But if you're good at those things, you can make a lot of money on days like yesterday. Just ask Chris. Chris did well yesterday, apparently. Bitcoin a little concerning. Let me go check. I'll check on my other screen real quick and then we'll look at it. SPY not rejecting just yet. It's really weakening there. PCC came down. Let's go look at Bitcoin over here. Yeah, so Bitcoin on the 2-hour looks like it really wants to go make that at least a 2-hour divergence, sweep that low maybe, or we'll see. But it's not the best. I mean, it's retesting the breakout on the shorter time frames, but those fail all the time for Bitcoin. 30-minute charts are not good to look at for Bitcoin. So you see the curvature of Bitcoin and you're just going, it's below the 5-day. If you just get this 2-hour to drop, right, you get that to cross on this RSI, those would be two indications that you're going to go down to this low. So Bitcoin does not have anything really, really good until you curl up the daily chart. And that's just how it goes. Same thing goes for like Amazon, right? Even Amazon, you still got to be watching. But does that mean I'm going to get shaken out of all my longs, or does that mean I just hedge a little bit? And that's kind of the scenario I'm in. Amazon, let's see here real quick. Was this overall priced in for Amazon? Let's see. Amazon goes up to a weekly expected move. Ooh, very close to it. You were about 70 cents, 60 cents away, 70 cents, I think, about 75 cents away from the weekly expected move on that push for Amazon. It is curling up a 2-hour chart as of now. We'll see if that can last for 52 minutes. Just because a 2-hour curls up, that would add some credibility to a pullback for Amazon, though. So if you look at this, you see this, and yes, it's a red bar, but look how positive it is. That's plus 4%. That is going to be a curl up if that can hold for 52 minutes. It does not mean you can't get some kind of pullback, but it does add more credibility to 30-minute pullbacks rather than seeing like this low taken out. I think on this, you could see that. I think on this, you could see all the way down past these levels, but it seems less likely to go past here. It's still possible, less likely. Crazy, but good. It came back in the monthly move. That's nice. Didn't go near its second standard deviation. Holy crap. What is going to happen here? Thanks for the Amazon info. Yeah, it's just this is a zone that I pay attention to. So how do you want to get out of this zone? You'd like to consolidate in it most likely. Which what would be the best way to do this? See a very strong move, get that to pull down, then see that curl back up. Use that top area as some support. Then you could break out, see that little retest in the zone, right? A lot of the time when you break out of these zones, you want to retest in them before you go higher. That happened in this zone a few times. I think it was here. So here you go. This is the move into the zone. We get up to here, right? We get to the high. We see that very rigorous consolidation, if you will, and then boom, you head up. What do? You come back into that zone eventually to retest it. And you see all the divergences that really led to all these moves. Very, very nice. Divergence here, divergence there, divergence there. Very nice. Very good direction from Amazon there. Very good signals to pay attention to there. I've traded Amazon way more than Apple over the last, I would say 12 months. Way more. All right, Spy. What are you going to do, homie? What are you doing, homie? Yeah, let's check on NVIDIA as well. I think it's good to pay attention to these. Once again, 2 hours. Look at these 2 hours as well. I know we're looking at 30 minutes, but look at the 2 hours as well. See if they're able to confirm up in about 50 minutes, okay? When that happens, it still just says bad things can still happen, right? It's not saying that everything's going to be just peachy always. It's saying that the more probable thing is we are going to get to here. It does not mean that the 30-minute can't pull down and curl back up. So as you see this 30-minute getting to overbought, we get up into these areas, especially if it's before any news comes out. We start to curl down. Then you see that confirm back up. That would be very nice. What the frick happened with the classic drawing mistake by Lucas? The good thing here would just be look if dailies can confirm up. That's bigger momentum. You don't really have divergences, though, for the daily scale. So still, V-shape is there, and V-shape is one of the hardest things to catch unless you have the percentages there and you just risk to reward, and that's overall what is going on down here, I believe. The best thing is NVIDIA gets extreme positivity and then curls back into that zone and curls up. That's the best case scenario in my mind. The best time, just I know you're asking Dubs. Dubs, please give your answer. He's asking you a question. That'd be awesome. But I like times where people don't expect things. That's why, and you notice why now. Now you guys are noticing why. People are expecting the big moves. I want to see a time where they don't expect the big moves, and I can feel good about that, right? The better thing that would have happened here is if no one expected it, right? If more so no one really expected something big and then that happened. That's where you make really good money. You see a signal, you expect it while other people don't. You understand it's an unexpected thing, but you see great signals for it to happen. You take the risk, right? That's how I like to do it. That's like the opposite of what we see right now. Right now, we see this is the biggest daily expected move I've ever seen in my whole trading career. The biggest expected move I've ever seen. Even during the bear market, I never saw a move this big on the daily scale. Right at that center line on this 30-minute and right at the 5-day towards the daily and the monthly bottom side move and the daily upside move for today. This is where, things, bad things can happen. And if yesterday taught you anything, don't think a 9% or a 8% down move is not possible, right? Because yesterday, bam, 8.7. Okay, so today, is it impossible for an 8% move down to happen? No, it's very possible. And that would stay in your daily expected moves. That'd be crazy. JFL, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate you being here today, buddy. Oh, maybe I gotta listen to some tunes. Or will that make me more dizzy? Why am I so dizzy today? It's so weird. I don't like that. That's not good. Do not like that. So I do not want to have to lay down for 20 minutes today. That would not be good. music. Maybe if I turn on some tunes, I can get a little more hype. Black lungs. Hydrate. I know I've been chugging. The weird part is I've been chugging water ever since that 4-hour range day. I've been chugging water, and it's just awful, man. I even ate breakfast this morning. Yeah, AMC GME is simple for at least the time being. It's more so I see reversal signals right now in the 30-minute. What am I looking for to see positivity? I already see it. So this is where it's like, yes, that can go up, but as long as the daily is curled up, it's good. This can do whatever it wants to do. This can do whatever it wants to do. As long as that daily is curled up, I'm perfectly comfortable holding the contracts 2 months out. But this looks like to me we could see that drop, but look how positive it is. It's very positive. So that's kind of a big deal, right? That means if this curls down aggressively, it's very likely to curl back up. But you have daily signals now. That's great. AMC needs to curl up on a daily. That hasn't happened yet. It could have. It almost did, really. Just didn't happen yet. So GME says, I'm on, man. AMC says, I need more time. And then GME also says, I could get a little pullback into Friday, which makes total sense with the options. And I'd be looking for that kitty to poke his head up at some point. That's what I'd be doing. Colin Torres, thank you so much for subscribing. Yeah, we always notice when we have signals like this. I think every time we've had signals like that, we've seen a kitty tweet. That's why you pee for 10 minutes. Dude, I've been peeing so much. It's insane. Especially the last 2 days, but all right, here's a little bit more. Burning. I don't think GME would sweep the lows. No, I haven't been drinking caffeine lately either. I didn't even have a coffee. I've only had a coffee once in like 5 days. How the fuck is it diabetes? I hate sugar. It is what it is, guys. We'll figure it out. I hate going to the doctor, though. Oh, about the guillotine. I don't trust them. All they want to do is give you pills. All the time. All right, we're starting to see a little bit of downside. What's VIX doing? VIX down 18%. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Me like pills. Sorry. I kind of stopped trusting doctors after they couldn't put my shoulder back in place, and I had to tell them how to put it back in place, and then they charged me $750 for it with my insurance. I was like, I'm paying you $750 for telling you how to do your job. Don't trust it. Thankfully, I got uncles and they're doctors. What price level you like to see Amazon get to today, or has it already done it? Amazon, I just want to go up, but I would like Amazon to fill this gap. I can tell you that. I would love for Amazon to cut through 174.50, and then I would probably buy this thing with both hands and be able to reposition that. So I really like anything in this area right here. Anything in there, I'm going, give it to me. Amazon, I mean, that's the fact of it, right? When you take a trade, what do you want to happen? You want it to go your way. But I know the levels that I like. I like this right in here. But my friend did that, Ta. And What happened? Like the bath or whatever that the midwife brought, like didn't work. It wouldn't function. So they just had to do it straight up. It went wrong right at the wrong time. Everything went wrong. Dead cat bounce is just like when you're at extremely oversold conditions. Most of the time, it's when you don't see divergence or anything like that, but divergence can cause a bigger time frame cat bounce. So, like a good example would be like this: like you saw 2 hour, right? But your daily was still just really deep. So this would be considered almost a dead cat bounce, right? You're coming down aggressively, you form some kind of reversal, the momentum gets weak for a sec, so you get that relief, and then it just totally wipes away. That is more what a dead cat bounce is. It's when you're at those extremely oversold conditions, and then you get some hope, people think it's a bottom, and then it just goes the wrong way. Yeah. It's pretty simple. BBAI. Does that make sense? I know it's very simple and it's hard to take it when it's that simple, but that's overall what it is. Big Bear. Oh yeah, Big Bear. Big Bear looks, oh wow, Big Bear. What are you doing? Okay, the daily I wish it looked a little better, but that's nice on the 2 hour. That is not bad. That's not bad. It's still susceptible to those pullbacks. Actually, you wouldn't mind a pullback here either. Yo, is this thing gonna? Okay, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but maybe investment wise would be good. The great level to get to. We can see two ways that this could really react. You see this? So be open to that, right? Fill that gap and then turn back up. That would be nice. But that will take you potentially negative, okay? So that's going to be the problem there. It's going to be a little bit more risky. So if I'm already in it, I'm going, okay, I'm aware that this could happen. If that goes against my trade, okay, I know how I need to react. But if that goes against my trade and then turns right back up, you kind of have something little going on here that could push you through here. And then you're just looking, okay, does the daily show me some good positivity here? I need to see good positivity. And by good positivity, I mean take out the level that's been really wrecking you, right? Right in here. Take out that. Take all that out. So get above 380. You could probably just say $4. Get above these gaps and stuff like that with no problem. And you're probably seeing this thing start something big over time. But from an option perspective, I think this would more be maybe investment perspective at this point. Yeah, weekly scale turns up with those type of signals, so we'll see. But this could be a weekly move. Maybe it may, if it's going to be sporadic, right? A lot of the time you just see stocks kind of do that. But if it's going to be sporadic, hey, there's a chance for that. We'll see. I don't hate the look. I really don't. I really don't hate this look on the 2 hour. That's actually not bad. I like it, Marco. It can go wrong. Remember, it can always go wrong. Just because you have good signals doesn't mean it's perfect. Give yourself that 1%. Make that plan if it goes wrong. That'd be a good thing. But I don't hate the look. I can tell you that right now. All right, are we going to get some news to drop? Let's see. The art of the deal. All right, guys. This is more a question for. I'm gonna save this question for later. I'm gonna screenshot this question for later, for the Rumble stream, where we can have a little more fun. Fellas, you get to be a woman for we'll look at that on Rumble. My thing is, are these like semiconductors gonna vomit? Is that outside of a move? 160. Okay, so AVGO here, this is outside of a weekly move. And you're only on, what is today, Tuesday? So you're on Tuesday outside of a weekly move. Crazy things can happen outside of there. Most of the time it will pull back into its zone. So it looks like AVGO might go through some kind of pullback here. That would be the more probable thing. A squeeze is never the most probable thing, right? It's more probable in this scenario, right, based on the percentages. But as of right now, for the week for AVGO, let me look over at NVIDIA. Let's see if NVIDIA is matching that. NVIDIA had a little bit higher to go. It went up towards it. But AVGO, just so you are aware, that is outside of some key levels. It says we have a 68% chance to see a pullback here. All I've got is insane. All I've got. All right, good thing that hedge was taken. You always like when your decision making at least looks right, you know? Insane in the membrane. No thanks. Yeah, Sid, you'd be the unlucky roll, huh? Well, going long here, just so you're aware for the day, you have extreme volatility. So be cautious. Today says be cautious. If things go wrong, keep it tight, especially if you're day trading. If you're position trading, you can probably take some hits, right? If you're further out. But if you have a 3-day option, you can really get ruined if this thing turns down, especially if you didn't manage that position size. So it just means be cautious. That's why I took the hedge here. EU wants to negotiate on tariffs. They're saying they have put a 0-0 on the table. But what is that? Toronto, update us on that, please. If you're looking at it right now, have they updated that from just industrials? We need to see more than industrials. Industrials is great, but is that something Trump really wants? How is Trump responding to that? That's what we need to see. Because he doesn't have to accept that. He could say we want more than that. Ethereum and Bitcoin, I think 2 hours are the move here. Just looking at this, see how that's breaking down. This is what I was kind of worried about looking at the 30-minute. 2 hour turns down, you take out this low, you go make a new one, and then right as everyone's negative on it, if you see that, right there would be the risk for the risk you're taking, right? This would be like, hey, I'm gonna, potentially take this. I have to assume some risk, but I want it at lower levels. Buying it up here, it's gonna start to pull back and things. So that's what I'm looking for from Bitcoin. I love the daily divergences going on for Bitcoin right now. So, these things can fail. That's why I'd really be paying attention to if the 2 hour curls down and gives you that hint. Do we see the 2 hour actually curl back up? And it can curl up at any point. It's just a divergence would be nice to take out the low, go like that. People would get nice and bearish on Bitcoin if it did that. And I expect this to go all the way into the end of the night, by the way. I really expect this to go all the way to midnight tonight. Watch me move. 2 seconds, Turkish. No, I'm not using the restroom. Sorry, guys. Had to help the girl out for a second. See if that made people bearish all of a sudden. Oh, they're still going to that side. All right, let me look at what I want to get here. Yeah. Okay, we'll look at that later. What do SMH looks like? So semiconductors look pretty decent. Oof. I think semis. You'd like semis to lead this thing. Am I muted? Okay, good. I'm not muted. 200. God, that would be a rip, man. I think filling the gap's always pretty likely. It's just, do we get a 2-hour move or a 30-minute move? What happens here? Do we see good news, really? If we see good news, great news, you could leave that behind. You could also see good news and see this go bam and then go. So either way, watch them burn. Ooh. Okay, we'll read that in a bit. Damn, AVGO. Still holding. I wonder if it does something crazy now. Oh, it's somewhere between those sacred silence. God. Yes, I'm activity. The toxicity of our city, of our city. Alrighty, let's go look over here. Gold is using that bottom side monthly expected to move as resistance right now. Damn. Okay, meta. Yeah, laws. I got into System of a Down from my brother. Brother was born in like 90. Shit. Or no, he was born in 86? 86? I've grown a bigger appreciation lately for System of a Down. They weren't my favorite at all. Yeah, my brother's a big reason for my music taste, honestly. And then my wife's the reason I got into heavier music, weirdly enough. She's like a 411 metalhead. Okay, come here and then. Yo, did any of these see? Let me click through. Which one saw the biggest reaction? It seems like SPY, DIA, Apple, terrible there. So I'm not saying terrible like now. I'm just doing an assessment of monthly ranges and stuff. Amazon had a rough one. AMD, real rough one. Microsoft, really not that bad. Stayed in the monthly move the whole time. Google, same. Like, this really isn't as bad as people think. If Google and Microsoft are still in their ranges, it's really not as bad as people are saying. So did DJT. Yeah, should I do something with DJT? No, we got our stuff going. 87 seconds. I've been thinking about SoFi. If I could see that next dip down for SoFi, I might make a decision there. Because SoFi is probably cheap as hell, actually. Trying to see where I want to put that AVGO money, the half of it that I sold yesterday, where I want to put it to work. Hedge expires on Friday. Really short term. Let's see. Really? Wow. Okay. Actually, wow. Okay. Really? Yeah, maybe I want to put a little guy to work, take a chance on it instead of doing AVGO again, adding to it. Yeah, we're seeing the drops. I'm looking for ones that saw big reactions, and these ones, Palantir did, but just nothing too crazy. That's the weird part. AVGS was a little crazy. JP Morgan's was wild. And oh, yo, you guys see this? I'll show you guys something. Look at this. Now look at this. Oh. Oh. Here, you want to see that? Ooh. Ooh, shiny. That's JP Morgan. JP Morgan saw one of the craziest things, so I highly doubt we revisit the lows for JP Morgan. Like I said, I think this would make a lot more sense. Damn. What would that do to get to the key level here? 255 from the low. 25%. Wow. Look at that divergence, guys. Oh, yucky. Ew. Right on Friday too. Yeah. Everything looks very similar now though. Damn, that is a crazy thing to happen. But SoFi as well, by the way, SoFi as well. There are some hints from the little guys. Little guys are saying stuff, right? That's why I'm kind of like, SoFi, interesting. Maybe I want to put a little something behind that. It's so flaggy that you know, another drop is very probable. So seems like the little guys might vomit to take out those lows, but the other ones could hold up better. Like big cap ones could hold up a little better. And SoFi would need to react all the way up to like $14 would be the place to get to. That'd be great. These things literally can rip by so much. It's insane. Took a short there, Chris. Ooh, Chris is liking it. What's IWM doing? I don't think we have. We could update weekly expected moves real quick. Hold on. We'll give you guys some weeklies for this. Let's take the bottom one. Look how much worse it could get before it gets better. Yeah, 5-day in gap resistance makes sense. This didn't see as much strength. Why would small caps make a divergence on the daily while everything else isn't holding theirs? I mean, they react heavily to yields. I wonder if that'll have something to do with it. I know, that's what I was looking at, Nat. Nat, you're looking at what I'm looking at. I'm going, that's cheap, but it's because it's a cheap stock. I don't think it experiences too many liquidity issues as a quote-unquote smaller stock. Nice, Chris. Well, I hope it works out for you, buddy. We've got about 15 minutes left here to see what's going on. Then I got to hop off. But I will be live later on Rumble. Just so you guys are aware, people who like to come over to Rumble in the afternoon for the Power Hour stream, which the link's down in the description if you want to join us today. We go live at about an hour and a half before the close. I will not have a live stream on Rumble on Thursday. We will be here in the morning Thursday for the YouTube live, right? But just to be aware of that, I'm going to go to the zoo with my girls and have a good old time. I need a break from the craziness, to be honest. And they all were going to go, and I was like, okay. But Friday, then I will still have that live show now. I'm just going to move it. Amazon. Where would Amazon need to get to? Here. 27%. That's so wild. SoFi, I'm looking at this. I'm just looking at the percentage here, and I'm like, damn, that'd be wild. That's the first point you really get to. I mean, if you can break through these little points in here, right? You break through $11, you can get all the way to 14 before you see even a pullback. If we start to squeeze, we got to see what news comes out. It's all news, but you saw this, so crazy things can happen. I didn't donate it so you could leave me. That's true. That's true. We use that to go get the zoo membership. That's right, for the girls. Richard, I'll send you selfies or something. I'll send you pics. And I'll still be looking at the market, so I might still be able to do updates or something. So I'll have my phone. Richie Rich. On the elephant? Oh, that'd be sick. Oh wait, I don't think we can ride an elephant. We can hang out with lemurs. We can hang out with lemurs. All right, Paramore. I'm good on Paramore. I'm good. Listen to my boy's song. He comes back from Japan in August. I'm pumped. Nice. Uh-oh. I'm telling you, day trading is like, you can make money here, dude. If this just revert, if you take towards this area and you see the rejection and then you take and it goes down to this middle, you can probably make like day trading wise, you could probably make like what, 500% or something. There you go, Rajiv. Isn't it nice when it works out in your favor and your decision making makes a lot of sense? It's nice. It's been a great. Oh, you're a DJ. Yeah, you like it, Mark, don't you? I like it. Absolute lucky guess. But you put yourself in the risk to reward that made sense, I think, Rajiv. But we'll see if it keeps coming down. You come and get it. Ba-dum. People starting to go puts again. There's so much pent up puts because of the last week. Oh my goodness. Once these things maybe expire, holy, it starts to go the wrong way. Let's get you res raw. Break something tonight. Break Stuff is my buddy's like favorite song to play when we hang out. I don't know why. He always would. And he is the most least violent person I know. I'm like, you ain't breaking stuff. I mean, mine's not even 0 DTE, and it's worth some money now. Technically, I gotta leave that hedge on. Motherfucker chainsaw. Let's come and get it. I would love to see SoFi sub $9 for a moment. That would be insane. $1K for being able to take my hedge off early. That's a good feeling. It depends on your trading style though, NBA. If you're shorter term, you're probably trying to short at these levels. Buy some puts, but that's for mainly day traders, probably trying to capitalize on the high volatility. SPY 3X. Woo! It's probably these things. You know, the big boys probably not till like last second. I feel like it'll be after hours. At least money most likely moves after hours or pre-market in the morning. But you can see crazy moves intraday. We'll see. Oof. Oof. And there's so many different things I got to do today. Yeah, uncertainty is definitely what's going on. One thing at a time. Knock this out, and then I can move to the next thing, the next thing. You go to the gym today too, on top of everything. So much, Justin. It's a busy, busy time. I was like, YouTube would be chill. Now I get to this point, I'm like, YouTube's not chill anymore. Oh, he's a lunatic for doing this for sure. And I love it. No, Adam, it might be the whole world, dude. It potentially is like the whole world. It's world markets. You're talking about changing everything. Crazy people cause some of the biggest advancements in history. I'm sure the first guy that said the earth isn't flat seemed a little crazy to people. Didn't they used to like kill people for that stuff? For saying those type of things? It's a bold move, Cotton. Dude, oh my god. I'm gonna watch Dodgeball now. That's such a good idea. Lunatic to those who don't understand. I think it is crazy enough to be great. If you really look at it, you just go, it's not that crazy. Like, it makes total sense. It's just crazy because it's gone on for so long. Cotton! God, that movie was so good. We played dodgeball outside for like a full year with my friends in the neighborhood. Man, that's wild. Keep up the day, David. Thank you for that, Ephesians. I appreciate you, and I hope you join over on Rumble a little later. Josh, I'd agree with you, buddy. He goes, Gar, Pater. What am I gonna do with all this buried treasure? Wah ha ha! Yeah, you got to do what's best for you, right, Adam? Bro, okay, did you guys hear about that scene with was it is it who's that actor? It's not Jason Gordon-Levitt, is it? Who the hell is it? That actor they didn't slow down the ball machine for him. So that scene where the skinny guy's getting pelted, he actually is getting pelted at like 100 miles an hour. Did you guys know that? They slowed it down afterwards. They're like, guys, they can't tell if it's going that fast on screen. Like, they can't tell. We don't need to do this. But he was already in there doing like 100 takes. Jordan Long, that's it. Jason Gordon-Levitt was the guy that's in was it whatever Days of Summer. But yeah, he literally got pelted for like hours at 100 miles an hour. I thought that was wild to hear. Anyway, SPY starting to drop down now, guys. We're heading into the end of this bad boy. VIX starting to curl up. We'll see if that has anything to say about it. No confirmations of downside just yet, but pullbacks do make sense in this environment. I'm terrible with actors' names. It's just not my thing. I'm terrible at movie trivia. It's not my thing, but I do like fun facts. I watch those all the time. The behind the scenes fun facts. I'm out of everything. Let's see. Which line do you look at to determine what's curling up, yellow or purple? For now, so this is your actual, like, your relative strength line, and this would be your actual MACD. These are more so treated as, like, say, averages or signal lines, right? So you're looking for these, like, when it crosses, you'll see on the histogram green. But you want to make sure that's coinciding with, like, here, we saw it cross. Is it above the 9? No. So that's not the best cross. You're looking for that strength. And then you see consolidative, boom. Never curls back down. So it's important to make sure it's like price action, MACD as well, with the green here. And then you're looking for that to be above on the RSI. The RSI is always going to be the first to, most likely the RSI will be the first to react most of the time. Meaning this purple line will cross this signal yellow line faster than this happens, faster than sometimes that even happens. Price action. So I look for all three, right? I look for 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, so the blue line's your MACD. And if you want to see this stuff, by the way, making more money, just do this real quick with your indicator. Click on it. And then if you go to, say, style, it'll tell you MACD is in blue, signal line in yellow. Okay? Very simple stuff, right? It's just more simple if you click on it and you just go, okay, RSI, RSI-based MA. Right? It can help you just to click into those things, just to be like, so you know which thing to pay attention to the most. I get on like a butterfly. A fun fact about movies is Batman the Dark Knight. I think Batman the Dark Knight was filmed, and then only, I believe it was 4 months later, The Fighter started being filmed, and he dropped, I think it was 90 pounds in 4 months. No, you're good. You're good. So you keep your eye on the blue. The main thing is just, is this crossing? And you can tell that from the histogram. Your RSI is going to be early. So the RSI is more just when do we cross that center line? You see how it crosses that center line, that 50 line? And then we end up seeing that. And then you get the move higher. That's why it was very probable to see this. And maybe I should explain those things a little bit further in the videos. But it's just a lot of the time, the videos, I don't want to be like 50 minutes long. No, the other one. See, I'm terrible with actor names. The Dark Knight one, the best one. What's his name? Big brains. Christian Bale, yeah. God damn. Thank you. Yeah, that's a fun fact for you. Was it the Joker? It might have been the other movie, but I know he only had like a 4, maybe 5 month window. Bro, I'm terrible. Oh, R.I.P. man. Okay. So we did just get to 10:30. I will have to hop off. Now, one thing is this can last for a bit. We have a 5 minute down by that center line, so don't think this has to be like perfect by any means. Yeah, we'll keep it. Here we go. So the 5 minute here, if we're gonna get to that daily expected move, okay, this would be a good thing to happen, and then watch for 5 minute divergence throughout the day, and we'll talk about this later on Rumble. Okay, guys. So thank you guys for being here today. Really appreciate it. Remember to keep in mind that the extreme volatility of today can cause some big things to happen. So just be aware of that and understand that we don't have reversal signals yet. There's always the chance to see something crazy, right? But it might mean pay attention to your plan if something is going wrong. And if it sets this up for us, I'm pretty damn happy with it. So we'll see. Thank you guys so much for joining today. I do have to hop off a little bit quickly here, but I appreciate you joining the stream. If you want to join our Rumble stream at the end of the day today towards Power Hour, click the link in the description with the Rumble link, okay? And just follow there and then join us around an hour and a half before the close, okay? Whatever time zone you're in. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace out. It is the same exact name, Money Making Market. The link is down in the description, just so you are aware. Yeah, it's the same name. I'm pretty sure I made it exactly the same. But yeah, the link's right there. But if you need to search for it, just type Money Making Market and it should pop